In the first category of the application layer protocols, we're going to talk about well-known protocols like HTTP, SMTP, and POP. First, for HTTP, as we said before, HTTP is used to exchange information between web client and web server. HTTP is a request response protocol, and it starts by typing on a web browser a URL. We call it a URL, or a uniform resource locator, and the URL looks like this. So we type www.cisco.com/index.html. If we don't type index.html, this is the default page that we get. So the first step is to type the URL on the web browser, and then the client or the web browser will initiate a request which will be sent to the server. The server will respond by giving the client the full HTTP response message, which is divided into a header and a message body. The header is an HTTP header which contains a response like HTTP 1.1. 1.1 here is the version. 200 OK. 200 OK means that the message code is OK, and I have this page, and I have everything working fine. And then there is like the date, and there is server type, whether it's Apache or any other type of web server, and some metadata that gets sent as part of the response. The body starts from HTML here, and the body is always in HTML format, and it contains the content of this web page, including text, including images, and so on and so forth. So the message body is in HTML format, which is the presentation of data on the web page. So the client will get the message response, and then will display the HTML page on the browser as we normally get. So the HTTP, as we said, is a request response protocol, and it uses, or the client actually uses some common message types like get, or post, or put. Get command is used to fetch information from the server, whereas post and put are used to push data to the server. So this is the main difference between the two types, or the two categories of commands. So the get is initiated when we type a URL on the web browser. Then we initiate a get message, which will include the domain name, or in that case it's cisco.com, the page that we need to fetch from the server, and then the protocol that we use, HTTP, because there is another variation of HTTP which is HTTPS, which is used for secure communication as we know. And then 1.1 is the version of the HTTP that's used, and we have to synchronize this HTTP version between the client and the server. So when we type a URL on the browser, we initiate a get message that gets sent to the server, and then the server will respond with the page content. If we need to post, for example, a form, if we, for example, trying to buy something on Amazon, and then we have a form where we have to fill the credit card information, then when we click on submit, then the client will initiate actually a post message, which will have the same message, but here the command will be post, and then the information of the form will be associated with that message, which will be sent to the server, and then the server will respond with either, the transactions finalized, or will respond with some error, like there is a problem with the credit card information, and so on. If the client wants to upload file content to the server, then it uses the command put instead of post. So post is used to upload information from a form, whereas the put command is used to facilitate file transfer or file push from the client to the server. Similar to FTP protocol, which we will talk about later. So the second protocol in the application layer is SMTP, or a simple message transfer protocol. Simple message transfer protocol is used to exchange email between a client and a server. And as we can see here, we have two protocols that work hand in hand to facilitate the email exchange. One is SMTP, which is used to send email to the email server, and there is another protocol which is called POP, or we can put here IMAP as well, POP or IMAP, which are used to fetch the email to the client. The reason that we have two protocols, and this is the exact same reason we have two colors here on these two connections, is that we normally send the email to another person, and then the other person will fetch the email on the client. So this client acts as the email client, whether on my machine or on the recipient's machine. And the sending the email and receiving the email happens at two different times. So we send the email using SMTP to an email server, and then later on the recipient will request the download of this email to the client using the POP protocol. So we'll talk about the details how this SMTP works. So the email client runs a service in the background, which we call it mail user agent. So the mail user agent is the service or the background process that takes the email content, and then it sends that email content using a SMTP protocol from the client to the email server. The email server runs a process which is called mail transfer agent. So the mail transfer agent is the server process that runs on the email server, and it listens to the email content from the mail user agent, and then it stores that email content on the server. Then the server will ask itself whether the recipient which is included in the message header, which is in that case recipient@domain.com, if that recipient exists in the same network or in the same email domain, then it stores the message and it does not forward that to a further server. If that email address refers to another recipient who is outside the domain, or in that case, in our case, a recipient who is outside of QU, then the mail transfer agent here will send the email content to another mail transfer agent which is remote. In that case, it sends it to the domain name that's included as part of the email address. So for example, if I send the address to amr@qu.edu.qa, then the server will store this message, will not send it any further, because this server knows that amr@qu exists on the same domain. If the mail transfer agent finds the address, for example, amr@cisco.com, and from the domain name we know that cisco.com is an external domain, then we send it further to the server with that domain name, which is in that case cisco.com. So we send it to the email server of cisco.com, and then the message will get forwarded, and then the domain email server cisco.com will store this message and then wait for the client to fetch this message content. The last step is for the recipient mail user agent to use POP3 protocol here to fetch or to download the message content from the email server to the email client. In that case, the email server runs, in addition to the mail transfer agent, it has another process which is called mail delivery agent. The mail delivery agent is a server process which listens to the mail user agent to transfer the email content from the server to the client using POP3. So SMTP uses the message user agent and message transfer agent. POP3 uses it works between a message delivery agent and a message user agent. So we pay attention to the terminology which we use for SMTP and POP3. So this is how the protocol looks like end to end. So the mail user agent will send the message using SMTP to the mail transfer agent. The mail transfer agent may, based on the domain name, forward the message again using SMTP to another mail transfer agent. Then this mail transfer agent runs on a server which has another mail delivery agent, which is invoked by the POP3 protocol to deliver email to the mail user agent on the recipient side. It's worth mentioning here that there is another protocol corresponding to the POP3 protocol, which is called IMAP. Okay, and there is a slight difference between POP3 and IMAP. So for POP3 uses TCP connection between the mail user agent and the mail delivery agent, and it downloads the whole content of the email in one shot. So an email consists of the message header and the email body, and if there is any attachment. So the POP3 protocol downloads all the message content, including the email header and the body and the attachment. It downloads everything to the mail user agent in one shot. Whereas IMAP may be actually used to download any part of the message depending on the user request. So it may download only the message header, in which case we get the subject of the message and we get the email address, but we don't get the message body or the attachment. Or it may fetch the attachment for a particular email header, or it may fetch the body only, and so on. The advantage of IMAP over POP3 is that POP3 has several problems. If it downloads all the email content in one shot, the email will be removed from the server, in which case if we try to fetch this email on another device at home or something, then the email is already removed from the server. Whereas for IMAP, you can download the message header but keep the email content on the server, and this way you can again check this email from the computer at home or something. Another problem is that POP3, when it downloads the whole message content, including the attachment, it may actually download some virus on your machine as part of the attachment. Whereas for IMAP, you can download only the message header, and then if you figure out that this message from the message header that there is a potential risk in that email, so you can request to remove the email from the server without having to open the message body or to download the attachment. So in which case IMAP facilitates the checking of the email on different devices from different places, and it also removes the risk of downloading viruses or downloading attachment which has some potential risk machine. Another piece of information which we need to talk about here is that SMTP uses or opens a connection to the message transfer agent on port 25. This is one of the well-known ports. If you remember, we talked about the well-known ports. And also POP3 here opens a TCP connection on the other side. POP3 uses TCP connection on port 110. So the email architecture uses the concept of push and then pull. So we have a push from the sender to the mail transfer agent, and then we have another push from the mail transfer agent to the other mail transfer agent, and then the mail user agent on the recipient side will pull the information to the mail user agent client on the recipient side.